One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
Today's movie is The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe from 2005. This movie is on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. The movie starts off and it's the Blitz. They're in London, they're in the Blitz. The bombs are hitting. The Luftwaffe is sending down all the bombs, blowing up London. There's 4 children in this. Peter, Edmund, Susan and Lucy. And they're being evacuated to the countryside. And they end up going to a huge country house. They're in the huge country house and they decide to play a game of hide and seek. So they're all running around trying to hide in this huge mansion. Peter's hiding behind the curtains. Lucy, she heads off into a room. And there's a big giant wardrobe. That's all that's in the room is this big giant wardrobe. She goes into the wardrobe, closes the door behind her, and ends up going into a magical land of Narnia. It's completely covered in snow. She ends up meeting some guy named Mr. Tumnus. It's like half human, half horse, got horse's legs, human body. Mr. Tumnus finds out that Lucy is a human. Humans aren't allowed in Narnia because the White Witch has banned any humans from Narnia. If you find a human in Narnia, you have to tell the White Witch straight away. So Mr. Tumnus, although he seems like a nice fool, or he's something like a foam, he kidnaps Lucy. She doesn't know she's being kidnapped. He just takes, he says, "Oh, come for some tea and some cake." Never go with strangers. Moral of that story. But he takes her to her home, plays a magical flute, and Lucy goes to sleep. But when she wakes up hours later, Mr. Tumnus is crying on the ground. She's saying, "What's wrong?" And he tells her that he is kidnapping her. But then he can't bring himself to do it because, she's just a little child. Takes her home, takes her back to where she found her, which was this lamppost, and tells her just to go before the White Witch finds out that she's been there. Mr. Tumnus tells her that Narnia has been cursed by the White Witch and has been in 100 years of winter, and they haven't had a Christmas for over 100 years. She goes back through the wardrobe, and they're still just playing the start of the game of hide and seek. It's as if she's only been away for a few seconds, and she thinks she's been away for hours. So none of them believe her. None of them believe her about the Narnia story. And they go to the wardrobe, and they're in there, and they're knocking on the back, and they end up not going through to Narnia. So no one believes Lucy about it. But in the middle of the night, Lucy wants to go back, and Edmund follows her through the wardrobe. And this is where Edmund, he meets the White Witch. He doesn't have much of a choice to talk to her because he's got a knife to his throat. But she ends up giving him some Turkish delight. And she wants him to bring a brother and 2 sisters to her. Obviously, so she can get rid. Because there's a prophecy that humans will come. 2 princes, 2 princesses. And end her reign as queen. So Lucy and Edmund come back through. And still, Edmund lies because, you see Edmund from the start, he's a lying, conniving, horrible little lad. And he lies saying that Lucy's still just making it up because he doesn't want to take them to meet the Queen. Because he wants the power for himself. He thinks he can be king without them being there. But it's the next day now and they're playing cricket in the garden. And Edmund blasts the ball right through the window. And end up having to hide somewhere because they broke the window, and they're all run and follow Lucy to the wardrobe. They close the wardrobe door behind them, and all 4 of them have now passed through into Narnia. And they all decide to go and see Mr. Tumnus there, but Mr. Tumnus's house has been absolutely wrecked because Edmund is sort of told on him for looking after Lucy and not telling the witch about him. So he's been taken hostage.
Impossible. Don't worry. I'm sure it's just your imagination.
Should we try going through the wardrobe? I mean, mine probably won't work. We'll give it a go. Right, so we're here. We're at my wardrobe. We're going to see if we can go through. It doesn't look like my wardrobe works. Hang on, you've got to close the door behind you. So you're going to have to come with us. Right, we'll close the door. You believe it? We're in Narnia. We'll make sure we remember this eagle eye so I know how to get back. Look, go over there. It's Mr. Tumnus. And over there, Aslan. So as I'm heading deeper into Narnia, I'll tell you more about the prophecy. Like I say, there was a prophecy. 2 sons, 2 daughters. They're going to take the throne. And this is where Edmund sneaks off when they're at the beavers. Just check around this corner. Edmund sneaks off to meet the witch, and the witch is furious that he didn't bring his brothers and sisters. So she sends the wolves out, and the wolves go and chasing to try and find them. Now, a bit of a random part in the movie, they meet Father Christmas, they meet Santa Claus. And I think it's because everyone's starting to believe again. So as they meet Santa Claus, they get some gifts off him. Lucy gets a healing potion, Susan gets a horn and a bow, and Peter gets a sword and a shield.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It certainly is, Lucy.
Now they're on the way to meet Aslan. And I've got to say, Aslan, the CGI, it was back in 2005. And the CGI for this, I think, is better than what they used for the Lion King remake. And I think because of the CGI they used in, like, The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, fantasy had sort of gone downhill at that point until those 2 movies came out. So when they came out, they realised there was a market for it. And The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe hadn't really been around since there was a BBC drama in 1988, ran until 1990. So when they seen all the CGI effects they could do, obviously Walt Disney decided to remake this movie. And the CGI is brilliant. If you look at when the lion's talking, played by Liam Neeson, the CGI is incredible. The CGI still holds up to this day. I think this is when Lord of the Rings was about 2001. From 2001 and onwards, CGI. That's when it started to really take off, get amazing. So they find Aslan, the prophecy is true, they decide to go to war. Like I say, I think this is an epic war. It's got all your creatures all fighting. I mean, the war in this, it's like a scene from Braveheart. Both clans just charging towards each other. Peter fighting amazing, Edmund fighting well. Susan with a bow, shooting. So as the movie ends, they're all knighted. Peter, the magnificent. Susan, the gentle. Edmund, the just. Shouldn't even give him a name. And Lucy, the valiant. So as you can see there, there's the Narnia DVD. And that for me has to be one of the best box arts ever. Lion. It's got the lamppost for Lucy. It's got them fighting in the battle. It's got the witch there with the polar bears as she's going across the battlefield. On the back, got Mr. Tumnus when he first meets Lucy, the evil witch, and Lucy entering the wardrobe. It even has a good disc, picture of Aslan on the disc. So as you can see, Narnia, look at that box art. Like I say, as you can see, Narnia is a nice peaceful place now because of Peter, Edmund, Susan and Lucy. I think I should head back and go back through the wardrobe. Okay, so I've made it back to the Eagle Eye, which is the route back to my wardrobe, which I think I came out just about here. See if we can get back. I made it. I'm back. I'm back home. Back in my little filming area. Like, I want to say that the acting on this, brilliant. If you look at the first scene where Lucy is actually coming out the wardrobe into Narnia, that was actually the first time she'd ever seen the set. And that was that's an actual real reaction to the set. The film's location is in New Zealand. As you can know, there's some beautiful landscapes over there which shows off really well in the movie. There are some sequels to this. There is Prince Caspian, there is Voyage of the Dawn Trader, and there is also a new up-and-coming movie which is in production called The Silver Chair, but we don't know when that's actually going to come out yet. So I'm Mark, this is Narnia, I'm For the Love of Movies. Just a little extra for you. I didn't actually realise that this was a Walt Disney movie when I was making my top 5 best Walt Disney movies of all time. But as you can see there, Walt Disney Pictures. Probably would have made me top 5. I probably would have knocked out High School Musical for it. So there you go. Thanks very much and goodbye.
Like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."